Today on The Next Big Bite, we're sitting down for chai and naashto, and why this moment calls for a builder mindset. So I'm here today with Miti Joshi, someone who's convinced that this is the moment to be a builder. Miti, thanks for joining me today.
Hi Nick, thank you for having me over. And today I'm excited to share with you what is my favorite meal of the day. I know you've heard of breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Of course.
But in the middle of lunch and dinner is what is my favorite meal of the day. It's called Naashto in Gujarat, and it basically consists of a feast, a spread of different snacks, whatever's around, and having that along with cha.
I love it. So, look at my watch, it's right about that time. So tell me more about this.
Absolutely. So this is chakri. It's a spicy, crunchy, savory snack. These are Parle-G biscuits. It is a rite of passage to dip a Parle-G into your tea and lose half your biscuit. So we will try that today.
Okay.
And this is kachori, and that is pakarbadi. This is fafda, and that is kakra. This is really quite the staple snacks, I would say, in a Gujarati household.
I hope there's not a quiz, because I will not remember the names of everything.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so I hold it in for like 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, you'll just take the biscuit, and it's gonna be beautiful and soggy and tasting of chai.
And I just lost it.
Oh no!
The food was great, thank you. But let's talk about you a little bit. Is there a moment that you think about that really changed the trajectory of what you were gonna do with your career?
Yeah, one moment specifically stands out to me. This is freshman year Miti. I am at college, I'm at Vanderbilt University, and I have no idea what I want to do, but I show up to office hours this one day and I go to my professor, we're talking about the homework, and that conversation changed my life. I think that was the first time that I saw myself being able to belong. And so just to be able to have that community, that aspect of support and recognition that yes, like you can do it.
And the people that you build for now, is there a similar moment for them?
I think what's special about our community is the stories and the people and what they bring to the table. It's not just about the jobs that we do, but it's about the impact we're able to have in supporting each other, in changing our lives. And so I remember that first very emotional moment for me being, there was a video of a Power Platform maker who was describing how they took Power Apps and digitized a paper process. And in doing so, they started with what they thought was an experiment in trying a new tool, but that changed the course of their career and in effect their life. And that's not something we take for granted by any means. And so being on this end of building these tools to deliver to our community, who in turn takes these tools and builds some fantastic solutions for wherever they might be, that is so special. And I am so joyful every day that I get to do this work.
And what is your favorite thing to build?
You know, the cheeky answer is I love building useful things. So I love when I build something that actually helps people in their daily lives, in their daily workflows. And so a couple years ago, we built this thing called Data Entry Agent. Every single time that I introduce that feature to anyone, where I show that, hey, you can just copy and paste. You can just drag and drop that into your form and it just fills it out. That huge grin on people's faces, that is the kind of stuff that brings me a lot of satisfaction because I can very clearly tell that, that like this makes my job so much easier. So I love building useful things.
So what I'm hearing is you take chaos and make it useful.
That's a great description. I love that, Nick.
So you talk a lot about taste. What exactly do you mean by that? Because I tasted a lot of different things right here.
When I talk about taste in terms of what we build, and this is something I feel so passionately about right now, but what I mean by taste is knowing which problems need solving and being able to match that with which tool do you need. And that's actually one of the reasons why I believe that this right now is the moment tailor-made for our community across Power Platform and Copilot Studio. Because guess what? That's what our community has been doing. We've been focusing on finding solutions to real-world problems and then finding the tools to help solve with that. And so that taste has been slowly built with our community over the years. There is an expertise there. There is the ability to understand across domains what to solve for and how best to solve for them. And AI doesn't take that away. In fact, it just makes it possible to close the gap between the ideas that exist and how to make that possible. And I know we've been saying that forever. With Power Platform, you can build solutions even quicker. And with AI, that's even more so the case. So that's the taste that I advocate for. There's the food taste, but then there is the solutions taste, being able to identify what to solve for.
And you mentioned AI, of course. There's a lot of noise around AI between jobs, skills, platform. How do you see through that noise, and what do you see what is happening there?
I think careers and disciplines and roles may be called different things in the future. But that ability to look at a problem space and break that down into what needs to be done about it, and then being able to match that with the tools that can help you do it. Maybe even going ahead and using those tools to build the solutions, right? But the hardest part is knowing what to solve for, because there are a lot of problems that need solving for in this world, no matter what your role is. If you're able to roll up your sleeves and become a builder and think through breaking down those problems and applying them effectively, that role, no matter what it's called, I don't think it goes away.
So we've reached the point where we're at the takeaway bite. Now, what is one thing you want to leave the audience with today?
This is a community of builders. All of you have incredible vision in terms of the problems you want to solve. Your boots on the ground, you understand your businesses and your organizations in a way that nobody else does. And so use the tools, the latest tools that exist, use them, apply them in the way that it makes sense, but don't lose sight of what makes you special, which is being able to identify what problems to solve for and then finding a way to solve them.
Miti, thanks so much for being here today. The Naashto, the cha. It was an amazing time on The Next Big Bite, and we will see you next time.